All right. So, welcome to today's session. It's a panel discussion on redefining retirement by starting your own business. We're going to talk about pivoting from traditional retirement to entrepreneurship, guided by seasoned entrepreneurs right here who've transitioned from conventional careers to launching ventures. Um, our host today is Emily. Under Stage Two Startups. She is a global marketing expert who has held senior level marketing and strategy roles at premier financial services companies like American Express and JP Morgan. And today she is the co-founder of Stage Two Startups, an organization that's dedicated to helping individuals transform their lives and work experiences into successful businesses. When you join Stage Two Startup community, you get to connect with like-minded innovators and experienced mentors who understand your journey. So we're really excited to work with Stage Two Startups for today's session. I will pass it off to Emily to take it away.
Thank you so much, Jen. I'm very excited to be here and meet all of you. I'm also really excited to talk to our three panelists today who have decided to navigate retirement in a less traditional way. And let me first by introducing Kirk Soar. Kirk and Claudia, you see them together on camera, are husband and wife. Kirk spent his career as a video producer working on a variety of productions for PBS, including the show Mike Calamaco's Real Food.
That's correct.
Thank you. It was there that Kirk saw the locavore movement sweep over the East Coast, igniting his passion for fresh local produce. Kirk became a founding member of the Maplewood, New Jersey Community Garden and received a certification as a Rutgers Master Gardener. Instead of retiring, Kirk took his passion for fresh produce and good food and partnered with Yard to Kitchen Organic Gardens, which helps people set up and maintain their own backyard organic vegetable gardens. Recently, Kirk's wife, Claudia, retired as a public school art teacher and now works with Kirk at Y2K. Now, Claudia's background, she spent her early career as a textile designer in New York City's home furnishings industry. But with children on the way and a move to New Jersey, she shifted her skills into teaching and spent the next 23 years in the 8th grade classroom at Milburn, New Jersey Middle School. Claudia is also newly retired and is leveraging her certification as a master gardener from Rutgers by working with Kirk and the Y2K team, as well as volunteering at Newark's Branch Brook Park, pruning trees and planting perennials. Tony Palladino has a long, successful career serving as CEO, COO, and CFO for a variety of early-stage technology-based high-growth companies. Now, Tony did retire, but when he retired, he discovered he hated it, and he soon started his own firm, Palladino Associates, where he serves as a strategic business consultant and trusted advisor to entrepreneurs. He has also served as a fractional CFO for several enterprises, including two that appeared on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies in 2019. Tony is an award-winning CPA with a master's from Columbia University Graduate School of Business. Thank you, all three of you, for joining me and answering some of the questions we are dying to know answers to. I'm going to start with you, Tony. You retired, but then changed your mind and you decided to unretire. Can you tell me a little bit about that decision?
Sure. My career spanned a good number of years, starting at Arthur Young and Company as a CPA. They sent me off to Columbia University to get a master's degree. At the end of that, I started a firm, an engineering construction company with two of my classmates from Columbia, and we sold that about 7 years later to a New York Stock Exchange company. And for the next 30 years, I spent my time as a interim executive, helping companies get through a conversion stage. Typically, they were venture-backed or private equity investor-backed companies that had run into a problem, an issue. that they needed to transit. Sometimes it meant they had to be shut down. Sometimes it meant they had to be sold. Sometimes it meant they had to be rehabilitated and turned over to more permanent leadership. So I did that all over the country and living in different places like Albuquerque and Denver and Philadelphia and Boston and the like. Uh, and retired in 2013. And for the next couple of years, I was doing the typical household kind of projects that you do when you retire. And I woke up one day and realized I just really wasn't having any fun, that I missed the intellectual stimulation and the challenges of working in the entrepreneurial field. And so I launched via an email to the Columbia University school community. I noticed them that I was available to do consulting, to do pro bono work, whatever. And that actually led to my first clients for Palladino Associates becoming a strategic advisor. It led to my involvement with Stage Two, which I think we'll talk about in a little bit. Meeting Betty Wong, the founder of Stage Two, at that time. So it was really a desire to get back to keep the gray matter going. And now it's almost 10 years later, 9 years later, and I continue to do that kind of consulting. I have 4 or 5 clients that I work with, and enjoy the challenge every day.
Great, thank you. Now, Kirk and Claudia, you both never actually retired. And can you talk a little bit about that decision, why you decided not to kick back and relax?
Well, it really happened as a result of COVID. My background, again, PBS production for a number of years for outlets in New Jersey, New York City. COVID hits and everything stopped. There was immediately no work, nothing was happening. And it just so happened that, yeah, both of us like to garden. We had been gardening our entire lives, from a small urban backyard in Jersey City to a larger backyard in Maplewood. Um, Picked up my certification from Rutgers University as a master gardener, was involved in the founding of the Maplewood Community Garden, volunteer around the area for, as part of the terms of being a master gardener, you volunteer hours. And so what I like to work. I'd been working 55 plus years, probably since I started with a paper route when I was 12 years old. Never really had any break. And all of a sudden, I hadn't been thinking about retiring, but all of it, I've got no work immediately. So just so happens serendipitously that one of my fellow master gardeners, Ed Albright, had started this company recently, Yard to Kitchen, sort of an expensive hobby for him at that point. I mean, he was kind of muddling along, had a hard time putting together enough clients to make it work. He had done all the necessary background. He had gotten us registered, or he had gotten Yard to Kitchen at that point registered through the state, tax ID number, everything was all above board, filing taxes. And COVID hit. And I don't know if you all remember, that spring of 2020 was a perfect 10. The weather was gorgeous. People were home. They were out in their backyards. They started to expand their decks, add to their patios, and enough of them wanted a backyard garden. So Ed gave me a call and said, "Kirk, I'm dying here. I got too much work. I need a partner. What are you doing?" I said, "Ed, as a matter of fact, I'm not doing anything. Let's get started." So that's how the business began. And, it's totally unrelated to what I was doing before. Um, but I looked forward to the opportunity. It was a learning experience. I mean, at this point in time, we're managing upwards of 45, close to 50 gardens. These are residential and a couple of large commercial accounts. The knowledge is coming in daily. I love it. It's been a good 5-year run so far. And as it works out, I'm making money. I haven't had to hit our retirement accounts in any sense. I can push that back. Social Security, we can push off taking that too. So it's actually worked out well.
Okay, thank you. Claudia, you have anything to add as a
And
newly
then
retired teacher?
Kirk said, what are you doing? And I really need you. So I stepped in. But I retired recently from Millbury Middle School as an art educator, and also very interested in gardening and plants and nature and the movement of sustainability. So I also got my Essex County Master Gardener's certificate. And I enjoyed taking the class very, very much online. And then we also met as groups. That was about a 6-month class. And then I just started helping Kirk, and we're a good team. It's really good exercise for me, so I'm out and about. So I just started thinking, well, what am I good at and what do I like to do? So it really formed sort of this hobby, went into this business. And then just volunteering. I do like to volunteer, and that has proven to be a great free way to meet new people. I find people more than willing to share information about their other businesses, and I've gotten a few jobs from that too, from just meeting other people. So it's been great.
Great, thanks.
Been
So it
fun.
sounds like
Mhm.
you're all very busy. I think probably a
Mhm.
question on everybody's mind as they're thinking about retirement. Are you working as hard as if you were still employed? Are you able to balance your life in any way, or is this really like a full-time job? I'll ask you first, Tony.
No, this really is not a full-time job. I would say that I spend 24 hours a week, typically doing consulting work, so that I have plenty of time. Fortunately, we moved to a community that has a golf course, so I play golf and have other activities here in the community. We're only 8 miles from our granddaughter, so that also occupies a good deal of time, and is very rewarding as well. So,
So it sounds like you're balancing some retirement activities as well as staying active with your job. What about you, Kirk and Claudia?
Yeah, I think we do too.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, the growing season is a busy season for us, but it's possible to get ahead of things. And if we want to take off for better part of a week, go visit some friends. I mean, you have that opportunity. Being the boss, you can make your own hours and
Mhm.
decide how hard you want to work. Ultimately, how many clients do you want? I mean, Tony, you've figured out a good number for you that keeps you busy enough.
mhm, mhm.
So it gives you the opportunity to set the amount you want to work at the business
Absolutely.
Mhm.
versus.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's excellent. What do you see as some of the pitfalls for being an older entrepreneur? And are there any pitfalls? And if so, how did you avoid them? I'll open that up to anybody.
Hmm.
Well, I think being older and having worked in a variety of just life industries, um, we have a little bit of years and wise, perhaps living experiences under our belt. In our field right now, I think we're okay. I think we're fine with our age, and even though our knees do hurt, and we are getting a little bit older there. I think in other industries for sure, there's a very young um, groove coming in of updated uh, technology and all of that. So that could be a pitfall for some industries, of course. But for us right now, I think we're
Yeah,
okay.
and I think
We've learned a
the
lot.
and the
And
majority of our clients come to us, understanding that we know more than they do. So I mean, they're not trying to compete with us with how smart they are, or so no whippersnappers to speak of, and they're just they're, by and large, they want to learn. They want to learn too. So
I
they ask questions, and they keep us on our
I
toes.
think that they're also comfortable with us too, because we are a little bit older. We are sort of comparable to some of our clients' ages as well. So there's a comfort level of years there.
So you would say, at least in your business, that your maturity is actually
Yes.
an advantage because
Yes,
you're
it
I
is
would
an
able to
advantage.
demonstrate
I
the
would
Mm-hmm.
say
expertise.
so.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I would
What about
add
you,
that
Tony?
I would add two things that changed the relationship with clients. One, Kirk mentioned COVID. That everybody is now so used to remote work that it's no longer that you have to have clients within a short drive away that you can get to and visit
Right.
with on a regular basis. So much is done by Zoom and electronically. And the second thing is Upwork. That for those of you who haven't or don't know what Upwork is, it's a platform, a marketplace for entrepreneurs or others to find talent and with the different skill sets and experiences that they can bring to bear. And that has been the major source of clients, of new clients for me, some by referral for sure. But if it weren't for Upwork, I probably would not be. I certainly would not be operating at the level that I'm operating now.
Interesting. So you really took advantage of this new platform, relatively new platform, to find your
Right.
clients. And
Right.
you,
Yeah, it was
which
new at
is,
the time I started using it. Correct.
yes, new at the time. Now it's not so new. But it would seem to indicate that it is important, at least in your business, where you're hiring yourself out as a financial advisor for a company, that you need to understand the technology. Just as Claudia said, some of these industries, you really have to be adept at what's emerging as a
Right.
technology.
Right.
Right. Well, you, Kirk and Claudia, it sounds like more the traditional
Yeah.
hands-on.
Yeah, a lot of word of mouth, and clients will just Google. They go, throw in some terms, backyard organic gardening, and we pop up. Typically, in their research there, we do Instagram. Um, I haven't really seen any sort of business coming in from that. Uh, I mean, we may not be really pursuing it the right way or as hard as we want. I think we're busy enough as it is, and we're fine with how it's working and the speed at which people approach us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you found you didn't actually, what do I want to say? You didn't start your business from scratch. You actually ended up partnering with somebody who
Yes,
had
I did.
already, yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that was based on the personal relationship between you and,
Yep. You and my partner Ed. Yes, we had known one another, had worked with one another in voluntary basis, and I had no idea he had this business until he just called me out of the blue, a couple of weeks into COVID, looking for help.
now did he know that he had always known you were always passionate about the gardening?
Right.
And,
Did he know I was out of work? No, he did not know
but
that.
he knew you. And Tony, it sounds like you really leveraged your Columbia Business School network as well to get yourself up and running.
Yeah, and that was as I said, my first entry into the marketplace. When I sent that email out, I didn't know that Upwork existed, and it was shortly thereafter that I became familiar with it and added that to the sourcing.
Okay. Now, did you both, I guess I'm still with you, Tony, but I will be asking you, Cook and Claudia, did you,
Mm-hmm.
before you get started, set up any type of legal entity? Did you think about how to, I guess, protect your assets and yourself and your IP?
I did and concluded that a sole proprietorship was fine for what I was doing, so I just do Schedule C on my tax return. I did not set up an LLC or a corp. to do it.
Okay.
And I see the question from the audience about funding the business. And there was no substantial funding required because it was just self-funding until the receivables started getting collected.
So you self-funded out of your savings or whatever as you got
Correct.
yourself up and running.
Correct.
What about you, Kirk and
Yeah.
Claudia? Did you
Yeah.
set up a business entity? Did you have to put in funding?
Kirk will share.
You know, Ed, my partner, had registered us as an LLC with the state of New Jersey. He did. I came in as a minority partner. I bought my way into the company, and
Mhm.
and in terms of, I mean, we we rent a single office. We're tied in with a landscape architect who uses us almost as a subsidiary as time. And added on to the work he does. The things we own. We own the truck. We have a large client in an apartment complex that we use as a yard where when we're bringing in large number of plants from growers, we're able to use that space. The expenditures are nil. They really are. We're paying for gasoline, paying for a good size storage locker, and that's it basically.
Now you are in you have a partner.
Yes.
Did you have to put any type of operating agreement in place?
Yeah, there
Partnership
is an
agreement?
operating agreement. Yes, there is.
And in your case,
Yeah,
I don't know. Did you hire a lawyer to do that? Did you?
Hired a lawyer.
Yeah.
Found somebody. It was pretty simple operating agreement. I found sort of a full service lawyer who had taken care of our, wills. He was a good guy. I could pick him up for just a couple of hours worth of his work, and so it worked out. It was not expensive to have him go over the contract.
Right. And well worth doing in advance. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if there are any questions here, but I'm going to ask, well, a question had come in earlier about where did both of you go for information and support networks as you entered in your retirement years and running a business? Did you turn to any support networks, Tony?
I guess that the support networks would be the business relationships that I had. I did talk with a number of business friends about what I was doing, and got some good advice on how to go to market and the like from them. So it was really personal friendships.
Okay. Do you continue that, those type of relationships to
Absolutely,
continue?
absolutely, yes.
So is it something where you meet regularly as an ad-need basis as you have this network that you turn to for, I assume, a
No,
sounding board?
yeah, they're really in the friends category for the most part, and so we try and in our schedule make sure that we do visit at least annually with a number of the key ones. I was just in Phoenix last week, visiting with one of them that I would consider a longtime business friend. So.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Kirk? Claudia?
Yeah, I think that the master gardeners
Mhm.
as a whole have been a good source of information, questions. There are a couple of gardeners who have, their little YouTube channels who are, doing some interesting things. I mean, the amount of information out there on the internet is just endless. And it's so good to be able to just, punch in some keywords and see how people are dealing with this particular problem. And it's, believe me, somebody once, not to make, somebody once said the ag business is a good business to be in as long as you're not the farmer. So, you're always facing issues. No summer is like the summer before, and next summer will not be like this summer. So, there are people out there who are good sources.
And so do you have a regular, I guess, network of people that you rely on? And then do you feel that's important for your business outside of doing YouTube and following?
I have people that I turn to with questions. I mean, do we get together as a group? No, no. We just kind of throw questions back and forth, issues, looking for solutions, answers, offering answers.
Okay, all right. So Tony, I know you were one of the original co-founders of Stage 2 Startups
Mhm.
with Betty. Can you talk a little bit about what motivated you to do that in addition to all the other things you seem to be doing?
Yeah, sure. Betty and I met as a result of that email that I mentioned to the Columbia community, and I actually got involved with a different business that Betty was running. And so we got to know each other over the year or two of working together on that business. And then when the idea for stage two was in formation, it just struck me as something very valuable to do and interesting to do. And so that's what attracted my attention. And it was much easier when I lived in the New York metro area, and could be more involved in it. Now that I'm down in South Jersey, it's less easy for me to be involved in any of the New York City based activities.
Okay. All right. What do you, I'll ask for both of you, do you think are needed skills if you're going to, instead of retire, you're an older entrepreneur and you're now out saying, I'm going to start a business, supply business as you are. Do you see that there are particular skills that you have that you found really important as you made this move into starting a business? Kirk?
I would say, thinking of how I deal with clients, I just do my best to listen, try and flesh out what it is they're looking for. I hold off on, immediately offering solutions until I hear the full story of what their desires are. And I want a backyard garden. Well, okay. What do you like to eat? I find out. What do you want to grow? What do you want to put on your table, in the summer? And then try and build it out from there. Do you have any design, sort of aesthetic that you would like to be seen? I saw a client today who wants, kind of an English garden with, but it's New Jersey. You got to put like a 6-foot fence up around everything here if you want to keep the deer out. So,
Yeah.
you find ways, you find
So you have to
workarounds.
deliver some hard truths.
Hard
Yes, very
truths
true.
for sure.
Very true.
And did you know chipmunks can fit through a square foot hole in a fence? I did until I saw them. I thought they were too fat, but they can wriggle through anything. So
Those darn chipmunks.
that's right.
What about you, Tony?
Yeah,
Any
I'll second that listening skill. Again, working with clients as an advisor, listening to what they're really talking about as their goals and objectives, and what are they trying to build? Are they trying to build an edifice that's going to last 100 years, or are they interested in a quick hit, something that builds something over the next 2 or 3, 4, 5 years and sell it? It's a very different plan that needs to be developed based on what their objectives are, how the order of magnitude of their objectives. Are they trying to build $1 billion company, the next Intel, or are they trying to do something that just meets the needs of their family? So that listening skills and understanding and translating that into business purpose is probably the most important.
okay? What
Yeah.
about resilience? Do you ever wake up in the morning and go, I really just do not want to do this today?
Yes.
So when you wake up and you go, I do not want to talk gardening with anyone,
Right.
what do you do to keep yourselves motivated, Kirk and
We
Claudia?
we just have to, sometimes we have to just cope with the unexpected. and you don't want to get up, or it's raining, or it's not a good day for you. And we just do it. We sort of push through,
And shorten the day.
shorten the day.
Yep.
And we can do that.
Yep.
We might reschedule or replan with our partnership. Maybe Kirk will do one thing, I'll do another, and we'll meet in the middle, and we can get the job done a lot faster. But it is tough. I think you just have to stick with it, and that's part of growing up.
We're still growing up.
And you may surprise yourself, but it does feel good. We both like to accomplish things and come home and feel good about it. So keeps us moving.
Okay. What gets you out of bed, Tony, when you don't want to do
Yeah,
it?
I think that the schedule is critical. That I would not be interested in doing this 8 hours a day every day of the week.
Right.
Being able to have some flexibility in terms of the schedule and the level allows me to have days where I can go play hooking. And if I want to go down, we're 18, what are we, 40 miles from Atlantic City, I can do that. Or if I just want to hang out and play golf, that's fine
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
So that's an important thing, is not to overcommit what you're going to do, and then it's fine.
So to that point, does that mean you also need to think about, I guess, the type of business you want? You're not going to be building a unicorn with that approach. So is it like you now come to terms with, as you're thinking about this, that my business will be so big because I want to have this option to not get out of bed on certain days? Do you
Yeah,
see what
for
I'm
sure.
asking?
Yeah, I mean, I could substantially increase my income if I were willing to work more hours, but I'd rather have the freedom and the flexibility than the income
Mhm.
for that portion of it. So,
Okay. What
uh,
about you, Kirk, Claudia?
Yeah.
Mm,
Thinking, is he thinking?
yeah, actually, I'm curious about the. Can I reference a question that's being asked in chat here, Emily, real
Oh,
quick?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody said, if you did not have a partner come to you, would you have set up a business? And I think I would have gone solo like Tony has. You always have differences of opinion in terms of troublesome clients. How long do you hang on to some of these clients? You always have issues with somebody, and
mhm.
it's interesting. We started as friends. A lot of businesses start as friends, and the friendship doesn't survive the business. And I think you got to just be mindful of that. If you want this personal friendship to continue, you got to give. You got to give a little bit.
So it added complication by not being a solopreneur, but being in a partnership.
Yeah, yeah. It can get complicated.
All the more reason why you were putting agreements in place prior to really
Right.
digging in on
Yeah.
the business.
Yeah.
And I
And do
would
you
have.
feel your friendship has been strained as a result of being in business
Yes.
together?
Yes, it has. He's a little bit older. I would throw that out to the group. I mean, it's partners between 30 and 40-year-olds and 40 and 50-year-olds. Not so bad. You get up into the ages we're approaching. I mean, he's 10 years older than me. He's definitely slowing down. He decided he's not living in the area anymore, and that has made it difficult, having a sort of a by phone relationship here, and who's touching base with which client. I mean, you really do need that face to face if you have partners, I think.
Mhm.
So it's something you definitely want to think about.
Yeah.
If you
Mhm.
So Jen, it sounds like we might be getting near the end. Do we have time to just ask them for their piece of advice to anyone who's interested in starting a
Yes,
business?
but before we do that, there are some questions in the chat that I think will be good
Okay.
part of the conversation. And there was a similar question for Tony around like, how did you decide to be a solo practitioner versus expanding and building a team?
Again, I wasn't trying to build an edifice. I was trying to utilize my time in a professional manner and stay challenged. And so I'd rather do that as an individual contributor as opposed to building a team or something that creating value that way. Yeah.
And I think really for our business, we really needed the hands. We need bodies. We need a team to work. We have another young man that works with us, and he might work up north. We will work west. So we really need a few people to handle it. So that's how that worked out.
Mhm.
Right.
Are there any other questions, Jen, or can we ask for their sage advice for everyone on the phone?
Yes. Let's ask for that, and then we can kind of just go to open questions from the audience afterwards.
Okay. So, Tony, your sage advice to anyone on this phone who is now thinking of doing the non-traditional retirement and actually be starting a business, what do you have to tell them?
Just do it.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
go on, Claudia.
I was going to say don't be afraid to take any classes to sharpen your skills, to volunteer to meet other people, because it might surprise you. You might meet someone volunteering somewhere where they're interested in the same business you are, the same hobby you are. And that might spark something new and fresh for you to start together or to take another class. So I think volunteering is really a good way to launch yourself out into the world again.
Kirk,
Yeah, and
anything to add?
I would just double down on staying engaged. Get yourself out there. Serendipity only works when you get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Do something. And just be open to the possibilities. And definitely, if the opportunity comes, what the heck, go for it. Do it. Try it.
So our word in our house is, instead of retirement, we say rewirement. So you're rewiring yourself, our lovely audience out there, for the next phase, the next chapter.
Hmm.